y'all for being honest. How would you guys say that it's fair to say, would you say there's maybe one of those a day? How many of you think one a day? Maybe one of those a day? All right, so we're going to talk about the concept of moneymaker or monster crusher. Okay. So if we have one call a day that we all just agree on that we probably don't book, times 5 days a week, right? That's 5 calls a week. With me so far? 5 calls a week. Now we're going to do 5 calls times, there's 50 weeks, let's say, because I'm going to assume that some of you get maybe 2 weeks off. So is 50 weeks a good number to use? All right, I'm going to need somebody to help me. So somebody get a calculator and be my helper with a calculator, okay? Who's got a calculator going to help me with numbers? All right, Bert. So 5 calls times 50 weeks, how many is that? 250. So that's 250 lost calls that we're not booking over the course of a year. Everybody with me so far? Okay? So now I got another question to ask you. Do you guys track your average ticket? Or anybody know what average ticket means? Do we know what that language means? Or anybody not know what it means? Because I don't want to run past it if somebody doesn't know. Okay, so give me an average ticket. Let's hear a couple of them.
1,600.
1,600. Awesome. What else? Brian, what's your average ticket?
My average is around 13.
Around 1,300. Okay? 500, 1,000, maybe 750. What else? So when your road warrior, when your service expert goes out and he exchanges his services for cash, on average, do we know the average transaction amount for those transactions? 800? Okay. 300? Okay. So let's go, I think I kind of a good number, maybe in the middle would be 750. Does that sound fair? Everybody? Okay. So 250 calls times $750 is what?
187,500.
187,500. Okay. How many of you think that's a lot of money going out the window? Now, for the owners in the room, you paid marketing dollars to get these calls in here, right? And that money we threw it out the window. Okay? Now, does the story end here? No, why not? Somebody help me out why it doesn't end here.
We gotta fix it.
We got to fix it, okay? Right?
That's per rep.
Oh, yeah.
Per rep, okay, we're getting there. However, some of these 250 calls is going to turn into, if we're in HVAC, it'll turn into a replacement sale for new equipment. If you're in plumbing, it's going to probably turn into a bath remodel or a sewer job or some big ticket item. If you're an electrician, a percentage of these is going to turn into a panel change or something along those lines, right? Okay, what percentage of those 250 calls do we think will turn into a big ticket opportunity for your business? What's
10%?
10%? Okay. Minimum of 25? Are we good to just be conservative and go with 10%? Everybody with me on that? Does that look a good number? Okay. So 25 of these are going to turn into a lead. Now, that a comfort advisor, a senior technician, something like that's going to run. Not all of those are going to close though, right? Some of them will close. So what percentage do we think will close? 70%. Okay, let's talk about why we're using 70%. Because if these are service calls and they came in, right, because they have a problem, and now we've gone and identified that they have to have a big ticket item replacement done, the trust level between a service experts and that customer is really, really high. Particularly if you guys have done your job and set the groundwork properly for your guys to go out there, right? Trust level is really high. So they close at a very high rate. So Brian's saying 75. Is it 75% of them will close? Anybody else think differently? Want to use 75%?
Yeah.
Okay, so 75% times 25 leads is how many sales? Where's my math person?
18.
18?
Well, you can round it up to 19.
Okay, so 18, well, let's just go conservative. We'll say 18 sales. Now, 18 sales times what average ticket do we want to use? 8,000, okay. What else? Anybody else have a different number? 11,000, okay? All right. Let's just be conservative and let's go with a lower number. Let's go with 8,000. So 18 sales times $8,000 is how much? 144,000. Okay? Now, that's a lot of money, right? Are we done there? You think some other things might happen? Okay, referrals, absolutely. Let's don't even take that into account yet. But what percentage of these 250, how many of you offer some type of membership plan? Okay, some type of club membership, okay. All right, what's some prices that you guys charge for your membership plans? $95 per year, okay. $299.95, $240 a year, $299 a year, okay. So let's go with the $299 then. What percentage of the $250 do we think will convert over to a membership with us? Should be pretty high. Give me a number. What percentage do we think it'll be? 70%. Okay. What do you guys think? Does 70% of all your calls convert into a membership? No. What percentage do you think? What's that? 50 or less. Okay. About 15%. Okay, let's go with 15. So 15% of 250 is how many? What is it? 37. So 37 of these are going to turn into memberships at $299 a year. How much is that? Oh, my accountant over here. 063. Now the beautiful thing about these 37 is we're going to get to go in that house how many more times over the course of the next year? You know, depends on how many trades you offer, right? If it's HVAC, at least 2. You offer plumbing, that's probably another time. Electrical, that's another time. You know, so we have the opportunity to serve again. And to Scott's point, this doesn't even take into account the referrals and that we're going to get off of these customers because we're going to deliver a lot of service to them, right? Okay, but let's tally up where we're at so far. So somebody add up 187.5 plus 144 plus 11,063. What do we have? 343,000. 130. Okay. Okay. 163. It should be 163. 343,000 in essence. $343,000 of lost opportunity by not booking one call a day. Now, if you have multiple representatives, multiple CSRs in your business, and everybody loses one call a day, that's a big number, isn't it? There's trash cans on the side in case anybody wants to throw up over that. Okay? So what we want to be able to do is we want to be able to convert these lost opportunities into booked calls, therefore taking it from a monster musher to a money maker. Make sense? What'd you guys just hear? What'd you learn? What's your thoughts about that? Is that surprising? Yeah? Every call matters. Boom. Yeah, it doesn't sound like one call a day is a big deal, right? Nina?
That they have more power than they realize ever before. You have more power than you realize.
Absolutely. 1, 2, 3.
Warrior strong.
Okay? Very good. Yeah. You know, I always say, and I told you earlier, I've sat in your seat, right? And I believe, without a shadow of a doubt, that you guys are the most important person inside the company. Because we can have the best road warriors, the best comfort advisors, the best installers, the best managers and leaders. But if we can't convert the incoming call into a booked appointment for our service experts, nothing else we do matters. Right?
Warrior boom there.
All right, so that's the power you guys have in your hands, right? So we ready to move on? Dig a little bit deeper?
Yes.
All right, so let's take this. Put this somewhere nice where they keep that number right in front of their mind. A lot, right? How many of you owners in the room, there's a couple owners, how many of you were surprised by that? You do it?
I'm
Okay.
texting my managers right now.
You might have heard me talk about that once or twice before, right? Ugh. See, I told you I'm vertically challenged. All right, so what we're going to talk about next is basically what I think your job is, okay? How many of you have a scorecard or a written job description so you know exactly what's expected of you every single day? Okay, several of you do, okay? I'm going to put it to you in just the simplest, rawest form that I can put it in, okay? Your job is to take calls and make calls. So basically you're going to talk on the phone and have meaningful conversations with people. Like Mike said earlier, you heard him talk about it. We're not about making you all sound like robots or scripted, right? That's not what we're about. So we want you to talk and have meaningful conversations with people. We want you to serve customers. Serve them. It's not about selling them more stuff. It's not about, how quick can I get on and off the phone. It's about serving them at the highest level. And as we go through the process, I'm going to show you guys some ways that you do that you serve people at the highest level and you give them an experience they never expected to receive when they call the home services contractor, okay? So we're going to talk, right? Then we're going to do what? Serve. So I want to hear you guys say it with me. We're going to talk. We're going to serve, right? Then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to set. So we're going to set the table for our road warriors. Because I believe this, that when you guys do a world-class job and give a world-class experience to people on the phone, that sets the table for greatness to occur when our road warriors come out there. You've already set the bar so high, and we're going to model this for you in just a little bit, but you've set the table so high for them that customers, they're going to love the experience they get when the road warrior gets there, right? So we're going to do what? We're going to talk, serve, we're going to set, and we're going to serve, right? Okay? That's what we're going to do. Talk, serve, and set. And then lastly, the last thing we're going to do is we're going to fill the board. Now, how many of you know what I mean by fill the board? Okay? What do we mean? The call board, right? How many of you utilize a tool in your company called a 3-day call board? Okay? Several of you do. All right, there's a picture in your book. What page is that on, Savannah? Page 3? There's a picture in your book of what a 3-day call board should look like. Now, this is a tool that we have inside the CEO Warrior Den for you guys to utilize. Now, I heard when I was walking around earlier, I heard several of you guys saying, let me check with dispatch to see when I can get somebody out there. How many of you do that? Thank you for being honest. We should never, ever, ever have to put a caller on hold to go ask when we can serve the customer. We should never, ever have to do that. One of the things that drives me crazy when I do the mystery shops out there is calling around and then getting put on hold, and put it on hold for quite a while sometimes, for you guys to find out when you can get service to them. We don't have to do that if we utilize a tool like a 3-day call board. So what you'll notice on the call board is across the top, first thing you're going to notice, I know it's a little hard to read in the book, it's an Excel document, ask your owners to get a copy of it for you, and they can get that to you, it's in Excel. But at the top, it's got 5 days worth of weather. Now I know you might think, no, Denise, it's a 3-day call board, so why is there 5 days worth of weather up there? Well, the reality is that our business, a lot of it is seasonally weather kind of enhanced. I like to say weather enhanced. We shouldn't be weather dependent, but we're weather enhanced. So we want to know what the weather is predicted to do. So you'll notice it says what's the high, what's the low, and what is expected the weather condition. Is it going to be sunny, cloudy, rainy, stormy, whatever it is. So that's what you'll see across the top. We want to constantly be looking at that at a wider look. We're getting ready to kind of go into a little bit of I call it more like a little shoulder season where it's what I call chamber of commerce weather outside. You turn it's the kind that when you're in this business you hate. You drive down the road and you see people with their windows open and there's nobody there visiting yet. So, the plumbing fixtures aren't being utilized a lot. It's just this little perfect little chamber of commerce weather that I hate personally. So, what we want to know is when that first dip in the weather is supposed to occur, because what's going to happen is we're going to go from having, more calls than we know what to do with, to all of a sudden the brakes go on, and we're at full stop, right? So what we want to do, and our job is to fill that board, to keep it filled. So by looking at what the weather's predicted to do, you're going to be able to make some really good decisions about what you should schedule, what type of calls you should schedule when. Everybody with me so far on what's on the 3-day board, okay? The next thing you'll notice is that there is the 3 slots for the day. So it's broken up by trade, and then it's broken up by 3 slots to the day. The morning slots, the afternoon slots, and I think it's first available, morning, and afternoon, evening slots, okay? That's the way it's set up. So you set a target number of calls that you need to fill for each one of those slots, okay? Now, everybody in here should know how many calls that they need, because it's dependent on what? How many techs you have, right? How many road warriors you have out there serving. So if your road warriors, on average, can handle, 3 calls a day, okay, then 3 calls a day times how many road warriors tells you how many calls you need for that day. With me so far? So that's the target. So then we want to use the color codes to determine where we're actually sitting. So this board should be updated throughout the day, should be posted somewhere that's really visual, that anybody can walk in and see it at a glance where you're sitting in terms of capacity. If you have set your goal to have, 10 calls in a slot, and you're at 10 calls, well, that gets color-coded red, because you're booked for that slot. Now, if it's color-coded, let's say you have 8 of those slots filled, now it's color-coded yellow, meaning I'm approaching capacity, but I still got a little room here. So pay attention to this slot, because I need some help getting it filled. Now, if you have 4 calls scheduled for that slot, and you need 10, that area is shaded green. So in this particular case, green means bad. We don't want to see a lot of green on our call board. We want that thing filled up with lots and lots of red. The other thing you'll notice that's on the call board is it talks about age of equipment. That's another thing. When I was listening to some of you guys do your baselines, it was one of the questions I didn't hear a lot of people asking. And in my opinion, it's one of the most important pieces of information that you, as a phone warrior, need to gather. And I don't care what kind of trade we're talking about. If they're calling for a plumbing problem, we want to know how old the plumbing fixture is. If they're calling, with an electrical problem, we want to know, how old is that panel box? How old is that home? HVAC, critical to know exactly how old that equipment is. So we want to highlight that in yellow so that our eye constantly goes to that so we can see how many old calls do we have. Because if I'm an owner, if I'm Brian or if I'm Scott, I'm looking at that information and I'm thinking, how many replacement opportunities do I have today? And I want to know specifically who I'm going to entrust those calls with, because they cost a lot of money in marketing dollars for us to get those calls to come into us. So we want to make sure we're getting them in the hands of the road warrior that's going to deliver us back and serve that customer at the highest level and deliver us back the most dollars possible on that call.